No mas.
Oh,
No mas.
So this is funny story. I was going to wear my No Mas shirt, and I didn't.
But you got the Swedish death metal.
I know I've got
hypocrisy
on, but he doesn't like us to be like Bobsy twins, and
no.
So when we interviewed Decilis the other day, we were Bobsy twins. We both had our Decilis shirts on, but
it was the first time we really worn them. Plus, the band was in the studio.
Exactly. But then we went out with the band afterwards, and he changed, and then I was going up into my bedroom changing because I have like a giant closet, and I was like kind of yelling down to him. I was like, "Do you want me to change or you to change? Because I know you don't want to be the Bobsy twins."
Yeah.
So we're nerds. So this is DJ Neko.
DJ Anubis, a Metal Time Radio podcast, doing another trailer reaction for you. This time for Len Kabazinski's Pact of Vengeance, which we've been waiting on for a little while now because we actually had been supporting him during this project. He's a good guy. He did an interview with Samurai a few years ago. We actually went out. He has like a nice laundry list of movies he's done for the last 10 or so years, and Swamp Zombies. I think we watched the Challenge of the Five Gauntlets a few years ago.
It's a ninja movie.
Yeah, so he has a lot of these more like low-budget martial arts action films. And so
he's 100% independent, and I think that's the other thing you have to realize. He's, funding and he uses crowdfunding, producing, writing, sometimes starring in, and
he's starring in this one too. Or at least one of the main
appearing
characters.
in it. Yeah, and everything that he does is, when we say low budget, I mean it still is quite a budget, but we're saying low budget as in not from like Universal Pictures or Hollywood, because
although he'd probably really love that.
He'd love like an open checkbook, but what he does, he's like, okay, I have to stay under this amount. This is my idea, and he's been working on this movie for a while. We actually have a poster of the movie. We don't know much, like this is the trailer, so we're
what I like about Lynn too is he'll go and just get like old school actors and actors that you don't normally see too much of, but you will recognize. So, but like he's also a big rock and metal guy, so that I didn't even know that initially, but he got John Mickey Thor from the band Thor to be in the film. Yeah. Because of the theatrics and everything. And then he's got Leo Tong, who recently passed away, unfortunately, but he got him to do a role in this. And I'm trying to remember I believe her name is Priscilla Zuniga. She's in this as well. Leo Fong, that's who I was trying to think of, who's pretty known from the martial arts world and whatnot. So it was unfortunate that he passed away not too long after they made the film.
Sucks.
But Len is very cool. He has his kids that are learning martial arts, and they're, he's a martial artist himself. Great.
Honestly, go on the Fat Samurai guy's YouTube channel and look up Len Kavinsky's interview and watch it, because he's a very interesting guy. He's 100%
and he's a big time fan of old school movies like horror and action. Like he has this, when you sign up for his Patreon, like he has like videos he does for everybody where he's talking about certain films. He'll do like certain interviews himself with like directors and actors from old films, and he just has a real big passion for those films like we do. So very fun guy. Can't wait to see this, because I know that he signed that the poster sent us is signed and everything.
I love how we're like looking over at the poster. You can't see.
Well, it used to be behind us for a while.
It used to be like right by where Oxygen Destroyer is.
We try to rotate shit, so it's like.
Yeah, I mean, at one point we had Eric Draven behind us, but because the Tennessee Metal Devastation Festival is coming up, that's why it's behind us. And then Metal Tavern's always going to be up because that's us. But like
Oxygen Destroyer.
Yeah, Oxygen Destroyer we just went to, and we're probably going to be moving Chimera soon. But that's kind of what we do, is we want to. We were literally just talking about this, but the Metal Tavern is very tavern feel. It's in the basement of our home, and it's very old school. It has like the wood paneling and stuff, and it's, you know, a finished basement. So we wanted to keep the wood paneling instead of like painting it or making it too cheery. We wanted it to feel like an actual, you're in an old school tavern. But think about what happens when you go to like these, there's always like a new band poster up, or so it's kind of part of our feel. We dig it, and we don't get rid of any of the posters. If you're wondering, they're just
we just
it's just shifted over to this side.
I got stuff going up the staircase now, so it's like
I said something because we used to have Enslaved next to the Metal Tavern, and then over here we had Eric Draven, I believe, and Enslaved is now up the steps, and I'm like, where's that Enslaved? That was a very special Enslaved poster. It was signed by the band on his birthday after they sang happy birthday to him, after we saw this incredible set. All of our posters have amazing stories.
Yeah, still need to get my signed obituary up there.
And oh God, that is gigantic. Right down the because I the thing with the obituary was I wanted to get it like well, I wanted to get it mounted like the Chimera one, so it doesn't ever like wrinkle or rip, and then we could. But anyway, sidetrack. Let's talk about what's it? Pact of Vengeance.
Yep.
All right.
So let's get ready to do this trailer reaction.
Get close.
You might be covered up though if you do that.
I'm listening.
10%. Due first of the month. Any of the black roses here? You can drop by and collect that.
And if we're not interested?
I'm not asking, bitch.
What happened here?
You know it was the Black Roses, right?
That's what I hear. What do you know about them?
Car theft, break-ins, drugs. And now they're just squeezing all the businesses in town for money.
You should lock your doors around here, man.
We're gonna need more support. I think I know somebody.
It's not nice to point.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
Vengeance! 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 Judgment! Vengeance! 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 Better watch your back. Every move is tracked. No time to react. Better watch your back. I'm sworn to attack. 'Cause I have a pact. Better watch your back. Every move is tracked. No time to react. Better watch your back. I'm sworn to attack. 'Cause I have a pact. Yes, we have a pact. 'Cause I have a pact.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
How do we see it? Where do we see it?
I'm not really sure. I don't think it's going to be a theatrical release, so it's probably going to be video demand, maybe like YouTube, Tubi or something, because he has stuff that shows up on there.
I'm wondering too, like, because this is honestly, I noticed with independent people, like every time they do something, their budget gets a little bit more generous, so their stuff gets a little bit more theatrical. And is he taking this to any of the independent like film festivals to get it screened? Or
I think a lot of times, I mean, if he does, it's probably on the more. It's not like Cannes or anything like that. Because
there's a ton of them though. There's a ton of independent film festivals.
But you usually, like the bigger ones, usually have to be invited to. So I don't know if they're going to invite you to something like that. But there's always like the cult ones that do all these.
Well, the only reason I asked this is because like we make podcasts, but I listen to podcasts too. And one of the podcasts that I listened to, the host was in a movie, and was not, he's not like a star or anything, like a celebrity star, but he was in the movie quite a bit and had a few days of shooting. And he was speaking with the director recently on his podcast, and the way that the director, who is actually a local East Coast person, he lives in California now, was explaining it. Number one, the shooting and all is a lot easier than the editing, producing, finishing, etc. But the director of this other movie, it's called Tapawengo. He is going to present it at different independent, and he had some like bigger stars. Like this has some bigger stars in it too, like bigger to our heart stars, and like Napoleon Dynamite's in it. Forgot his name, John Hader. Yeah. So they're not talking about like Tom Cruise level stars, but like stars are like this too. Stars are in the movie, so I'm hoping. I mean, I'm sure I could just email or message Len and ask him what his plans are. He's so down to earth.
Well, he might put it on DVD too. I'm sure he's gonna have some limited copies.
I am sure he would like, and this is what I'm saying to our fans out there too, who might be interested in this movie. Len is very down to earth. Would if you messaged him on Twitter or something,
he's very humble.
You would be like,
he'll
hey,
talk with you all day.
Yeah, he's 100% gonna. Like he'll tell. I mean, he's not gonna give you his secret sauce, but he'll tell you like I'm hoping that this happens, or these are my plans. And he was talking about this movie a year or two ago, and it is everything that it delivered. Everything he said it was gonna deliver. 100% martial arts. Has a little bit of the cheese factor, which we love, especially like with
great soundtrack. It sounds like you got Thor to do some stuff there for
I was going to say with Thor in it, Thor's got the great cheese factor because he loved the theatrics and the cheese. Well, I hate calling it cheesy, but you know what I mean. Like
we love cheese.
We love cheese. He loved the over the top stuff. The in the band Thor, they love like the total theatrics. And when he did that whole thing with the sunglasses and the mullet, and he's like,
yeah,
that was so Thor. And I do follow Thor on social media, so some of these throwbacks from like the 70s and 80s that he posts up, I'm like, you look like Thor, but you also look like fucking He-Man. Like some of the outfits he has.
Yeah, he's got the whole like barbarian gladiator thing going on there.
I enjoy stuff like this. I feel like this movie is going to turn into one of my guilty pleasures because I'm going to want to watch it over and over.
Yeah, I
and
definitely
over
have to
again.
find a way to own this, like somehow. Like I'm sure that he's going to have some DVDs on it.
Why wouldn't he?
That's what I'm saying.
Why would we would order one today if we could, and we're going to look it up in a minute to see like can we order Pact of Vengeance and when, and enter.
I'll just PM him because I'm friends with him on Facebook. So I'll just be like, Len, when's this on DVD again?
First, you need to tell him how much we totally enjoyed his trailer.
Well, he's gonna see it because I'm gonna tag his ass.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Len. I also something I learned too is the whole trailer thing is its own industry. It's like its own little
Well, and that's why I really appreciate like forget like we're kind of newbie at all this. We're still finding our way.
We just like to have fun.
But you have like Samurai and other people out there that do trailer reactions, and they do really well. And then Samurai does a lot of good interviews with these directors and actors, and they break down these stuff very well. Like you can see some of Samurai's other shows where you know slapping with Samurai or something. You know, he has all these things that they just break down martial arts film and stuff. But they do a really good job at it, so they're a lot more seasoned at it. But this stuff helps guys like Lynn. This is the kind of stuff. We're not quite as big as Samurai or anybody else, but we're putting it out there. We're trying to get them some notice.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like the trailer industry in itself is separate from the movie industry. I mean, think about how many times you get hyped up when you're like, okay, this is a teaser trailer, But then the real trailer's coming out, and we're not gonna.
Sometimes the teasers are better. You always make fun about the Watchmen teaser. I'm always watching.
No, the Watchmen trailer is the theatrical trailer. And he actually recorded it and put it on a DVD-R. So we would never ever not have it because it was a fantastic trailer. And
I need to just go and take all my favorite trailers and put them on a DVD, because I like a lot of the old Godzilla ones.
Oh, they're fun.
Just whatever. There are a lot of good ones out there.
And what I mean by the trailer industry has evolved itself. Let's just look at when we are thinking about watching an older movie, and you're like, okay, let me turn on the trailer, and it's just kind of like, here's this guy, here's this guy, here's the story, the end. Nowadays, the trailers themselves are almost like mini movies or mini homages to the movie.
Well, you have to be careful because we've complained that sometimes they
get a little too much. They put a little too much. But
back in the day, I go to look at a trailer on Prime,
and you're like, it doesn't do anything for me.
No, it's a Prime movie from like the 80s or 70s, but the trailer isn't a trailer; it's just a clip of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? It's just a scene. This ain't gonna tell me anything.
And I think that's just what really it was back then. The trailer.
Well, they had trailers, but if you're not able to get them, or if they didn't make one,
or they didn't save them, or whatever, like for, I think maybe late 90s going forward, maybe the last 25 years, the trailer business has really, they want to capture and captivate audiences and then create a buzz. And so the trailers themselves are just cut in a certain way. And this is going back to Pact of Vengeance. What I'm saying is this trailer makes me want to watch the movie. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yep. So thanks again for checking out this trailer reaction. Get out there and see this when it's released, wherever you can find it. And we'll be back at another time. Thank you very much.